So a lot has been happening here in the city as per usual, and a conversation that we've been discussing for a while now is about the proposed storage unit over on 99A Essex Avenue. Now that is a part, if anyone knows that area, that's a part of the Cape Ann Marina resort that houses boats all throughout the summer seasons here in Gloucester. And the people who own that area were seeking to build an indoor storage unit to be able to house boats in the winter months, and kind of keep boats here in Gloucester rather than both commercial and residential boaters going elsewhere. However, the standing committee that represents planning and development, these are three city councilors who kind of stand on that standing committee, voted against giving them special permits, mostly on the basis of residents kind of raising concerns about how it doesn't necessarily fit with the neighborhood character, but then also about shadowing that this quite tall building would kind of cause both their houses and the surrounding areas obstructing views and kind of really being detrimental to the character of the neighborhood and to the views and that they come to know and love. So this happened over on Wednesday night during a Zoom meeting, and it was really interesting back and forth between Attorney Ellison, who's representing the Dominic family who owns the marina, and she was kind of speaking to the character of the neighborhood should encompass the entire neighborhood, and she was noting that a lot of this area is in the business district, and so we need to be mindful that there are businesses there, and so it does kind of keep in character with those, but the standing committee noted that residents also a part of that community and should not be forgotten, and it seemed like it would be quite a big impact, so they actually did kind of not recommend that the city council give these special permits. So that story will be developing as Tuesday night's city council meeting will have a public hearing in which people in favor and in opposition, both sides have been quite loud, both on social media and in person. They'll be having that discussion Tuesday night at 6 p.m. So quite the discussion. The councilors kind of mentioned that the marina is a great thing for the economy here in the city, but it just didn't seem like they would also provide many new jobs, and the number of boats being stored there wouldn't really change. So there's a couple of different factors why they were against it, but the biggest one was kind of the neighborhood character and residents who kind of spoke up in opposition.
Yeah, more than 53 feet tall at its peak. That's a big deal. That's much bigger than the Green Monster over at Fenway. So, all right, big doings over in City Hall with the CAO.
So Gloucester has a new Chief Administrative Officer as Vanessa Krozik. The interim CAO here in Gloucester has resigned. Nicole Kaiser has taken on the position as CAO. Mayor Safathia Romeo Taken has appointed her the position this earlier in January, and now she's in the process of being appointed confirmation by the City Council, which is scheduled to take place in March. Now, Kaiser has a deep history of communication, not here in Gloucester, but throughout, as she was the Director of Communications over the Andover Public Schools. And she announced in October when she was in that position that she would be seeking other opportunities. I had the opportunity to do an email correspondence with her, and she had mentioned that at the time when she said new opportunities, but wasn't specific, that it was indeed the position of CEO here in Gloucester. And so she's really excited for a change of pace, a really different job than what she's done in the past. And so as she started her new position on Monday, Vanessa will continue out her kind of job right now as assistant to Kaiser until June of this year. And then she will go on to kind of take care of her family and see what's next for her. But that's the biggest news here in the city as we look at different positions that are shifting and changing within the new year.
And as we look at the week ahead, Taylor, the Elks is setting up vaccination spot.
That is, so I had the opportunity to speak with Brenda Leahy over at the Elks Lodge, and she had mentioned that they are going to be a new vaccine site as Beth Israel Leahy Hospitals works to get those who are within the governor's phasing of vaccines, kind of really trying to make sure that they can streamline that process and connect with all residents who might need it. So for those first vaccines over at Elks Lodge, which is scheduled to take place in mid-February, about February 15th, I believe, those residents 75 years and older will be contacted by Beth Israel if they are to be eligible for this vaccine. Now, it's a randomized kind of process that they're doing. They're randomizing the list. So it's not anybody. They will be contacted by Beth Israel. They're really requesting that people don't reach out to the Elks Lodge or Beth Israel or their PCPs, as they'll be notified by email, text, or by phone. But that is kind of a new thing in COVID, as we start to see those processes coming here over the bridge onto the island, as we continue to see people mitigating the spread of the virus. So I know Brenda said she's quite excited, and she talks about how at the Elks Lodge you're able to look out into the ocean, hopefully to a new and brighter future. So great things happening here in the city, and we'll continue to report them as they come our way.